Hello, and welcome to Good Games Spawn Point, the show for gamers by gamers. I'm Santa the Hedgehog.
And I'm Reindeer Hex.
And I'm D.A.R.R.E.N, the wise Christmas elf.
And I'm the gift of Goose.
It's our last show for the year, and as you can see, we're getting into the Christmas spirit.
Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, nice job on the Christmas tree, Darren.
Oh, thank you, Hex. It's not easy hanging baubles with pasta scoop hands, but I did my best.
Great. Well, coming up in the show, we're going to review the brand new Pokémon game, Pokémon Sun and Moon.
A new Pokemon game just in time for the holidays.
Oh, totally, Bajo. I can't wait. All right, Darren, have you got a challenge for us?
Indeed, Goose. Boost your brain power, spawnlings, because it's time for Darren's Challenge! Today, I'm asking you this. LEGO Dimensions features characters from which movie that is set at Christmas time? Answer at the end of the show.
Oh, come on, Darren. That one's so hard.
It's our last episode of the year, Hex. It has to be a good challenge.
Well, Goose, why don't you go unbox some gaming picks for us?
Because I'm dressed as a present.
Yeah.
I get it. I'll be right back.
He's a pretty good presenter.
We're really ribbon today.
Yeah. All right, and here are my final gaming picks for the year. And first up, we have some hot gossip about a potential new version of Pokémon for the Nintendo Switch. According to a report from gaming website Eurogamer, the new game will be part of the recent Sun and Moon series and is codenamed Pokémon Stars. Apparently, it will feature the same map and cities as Sun and Moon, but will feature higher quality graphics and potentially some extra Pokémon to catch, which can be traded with the 3DS games. If the report is accurate, then the game is expected to be out sometime next year. Next up, YouTube channel F2 Freestylers has created this excellent video recreating FIFA 17 glitches, but in real life. Lol. But recreating video games in real videos is easy. What's not easy is recreating real videos in video games. So that's exactly what Factorio player Dave McW did in the game. The video player uses a ridiculous array of programmable machines in the game that can handle memory, decoding, and display, which get fed video code and actually play it back. I don't really understand what I just said, but it is impressive work. And on that note, that's all my gaming picks for the year. Back to you guys. I'm gonna go change my wrapping. This is getting uncomfortable.
Thanks, Goose.
Hex, I'm going to take this wig and hat off. It's not really made for a warm Australian summer Christmas.
Hey, Darren, what is this Christmas list you've got here?
Is it a list of delicious Christmas food we're going to eat?
No, I bet it's a list of all the games he got us for Christmas.
Not quite. New games can cost lots of money, and you're not always able to get all the games you want. But I found a perfect solution to keep us gaming all summer long. I present to you Darren's top 3 free mobile games. Try saying that 3 times fast.
But Darren, that's easy. We already know the top 3 free games. There's Hearthstone.
There's Clash of Clans.
And Pokemon Go.
Affirmative. Those are all good games, but almost all the spawnlings already know about those. So I've run a deep scan of the app stores and found some lesser-known gaming gifts that can be downloaded for free right now. First up, Looty Dungeon, which is a mix between Crossy Road and roguelike dungeon crawlers such as Enter the Gungeon and Spelunky.
Oh, good choice, Darren. When I first played this, I instantly felt at home. It controls exactly like Crossy Road, but with some added abilities such as firing arrows and blocking.
Instead of dodging traffic, you'll be avoiding dangerous traps and fighting off monsters, all while keeping ahead of the crumbling floor below.
You start with a few lives, so you don't instantly lose if you mess up. You can also gain experience points, which go towards leveling up the different characters.
Now, unlike similarly styled games, the unlockable characters will give you different abilities, such as being able to knock down obstacles or throw a boomerang.
Yes, and it can be tempting to unlock characters by paying real money for them.
Yeah, but this game still has plenty of ways to unlock characters by leveling up or completing quests, or opening chests that are hidden around the levels.
If you're a fan of Crossy Road or just the endless runner genre, but are looking for something with a bit more to do, like leveling up and exploration, this is the perfect choice for you. Merry Christmas!
Thanks, Darren, that was a good choice. But what about spawnlings who are looking for something with a bit more action?
Well, Bajo, I'd recommend Sky Force Reloaded. It's an arcade-style dogfighting shooter with slick new modern-day graphics. It has a simple premise. You're in a plane, and you have to shoot things. Pew pew!
Yeah, the controls are super easy. You drag on the screen, the plane will follow while it automatically fires the weapons. Taking your finger off will put the game in slow motion, giving you a little bit more time to plan your next move.
I really like this slow motion idea. Skyforce is all about dodging the onslaught of bullets while picking a good position to destroy enemy planes and tanks.
Destroying enemy units and completing objectives will earn you stars, which are used to upgrade your plane. Over time, this lets you take on stronger enemies and unlock more stages.
Yeah, it's great fun starting off with a weak plane and then slowly upgrading till it's powerful enough to crush any enemy. I particularly liked going back into earlier levels with my souped-up fighter jet and stomping bosses that I used to find super hard.
If you're looking for a fast-paced shooter with plenty of replayability, then this is the game for you. Season's greetings, Spawlings.
All right, Darren, another good choice, but what is left in the freebie Christmas stocking?
My third and final gift, Bajo, is Asphalt 8 Airborne. It plays similarly to arcade races like Need for Speed and Burnout, but you steer by tilting the phone left and right like a steering wheel.
Oh yeah, Asphalt 8 almost seems like a fully fledged console game. It has some of the best graphics I've ever seen on a phone, and it has all the stuff that bigger racing games have, including heaps of cars to unlock, engine tuning, and lots of different game modes and side quests.
It took me right back to the days of Burnout. This game is all about hitting the NOS, pulling off sick stunts, and causing devastating crashes. All to the tune of a pumping soundtrack.
Yeah, it even has multiplayer so you can race your friends.
If I had one criticism, there does seem to be a lot to buy with the in-game currency, but most of the time, it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, this is still perfectly fun without having to spend a cent, which is a pretty good deal considering how much there is to do in the game.
Absolutely! Give this a shot if you're looking for a console-quality game on phones or just love racing games. Happy holidays!
Excellent list, Darren. Sounds like you checked it twice, and now I have all my gifts sorted for the rest of the year, and within my budget.
Oh, very good, Bajo. Well, earlier this year, Goose headed up to Queensland to meet super teacher Ken Brady and observed as he taught Spawlings how to make games at school. Roll the tape, please.
Thanks, guys. I'm here in sunny Queensland at 1 Mile State School in Gympie to meet a teacher who's come up with his very own course about coding video games and meet some of the students. So let's drop in and see how they're doing.
So what's moving? We've got a background. What do we need to have now?
The background behind the coding project came from an idea that students, when they're learning the program, would find it possibly hard. They'd find it difficult unless we made some sort of fun element to it.
And can you run me through the course? What exactly are the kids doing?
They learn the basics of how to program using some really simple programs like Scratch. Then once they advance into, say, year 5 and 6, they advance to using something like Game Maker, where they start learning some basic scripting. And then by the time they're in years, say, 8, 9 or 10, they're learning to program using something like C# in a program called Unity. And along the way, they're developing their programming skills, but using the whole way how to make a game. The games that we're making are games that the kids can take home on their own mobile phones or on their own smartphones or tablets. And so they love being able to show their mum and dad what they can make. They love being able to show their friends in the playground, hey, I made this particular game. So they find it very positive.
Describe to me the games you've made.
So we've made Catch the Squid. So it's a game how you've got coral all the way around the outside and a squid bouncing around in, and you have to click on it. And when you click on it, you get a point and it changes direction.
Right, and then you guys have been working on a different one today, but with a squid as well.
Yeah.
And what's that one called?
It's called Squirty Squid. It's a lot like Flappy Bird.
How have you found like the lessons? How are they going, and what's it like learning to actually code a game?
It's a lot of fun.
Does it feel like schoolwork while you're working on it?
No, it doesn't feel like schoolwork at all.
Tell me a bit about the programming and what you guys have been learning specifically.
So we have been learning how to type code correctly. The computer says if you type something, just one word incorrectly, the game won't let you play it because it won't accept the code. It's good that Mr. Brady can do it up on the screen, so if you don't understand it, you can watch and then you can do it yourself. It's sort of good that you get to have a turn by yourself, not just watch all the time.
how do you break down something as complex as coding to teach kids in year 6?
You use the same sort of method that anyone takes to learn anything, and that is you use analogies all the way along. So students won't necessarily understand the concepts of programming, but they'll understand the concept of, say, how to make a piece of toast. And you say, okay, when you make your piece of toast, you don't put the butter on the bread before you put it in the toaster. You've got to do it in the correct sequence. And so if you give them that and you say, okay, the toast is like this particular piece of programming and the toaster is like that, and then they understand that process, then when you then introduce that to being the programming steps, they get a little bit better.
We've learned about variables, we've learned about IntelliSense, and next week I want to start teaching you about how statements work.
Okay, Josie, did we fix the problem we were having before?
Yes.
Okay, can you show me how it's working now?
Yes. When we move the spacebar, it will work. Like, it will fall, but it depends on how much we press it. I'm trying not to get it all the way down, otherwise it will fall all the way down.
Just tell me, like, when you run into a problem like that, how do you get the problem solved here? Like, do you go back to the book, or do you ask the teacher, or do you get a classmate to help you?
I look at the book and try and see if I can solve it myself, and then if I can't do that, then I put my hand up and I ask the teacher, and they will help me with it.
Do you find it tricky, or do you enjoy it?
It's very fun, and it's good to know how to program a game and make it, and that's really cool. It's actually quite fun.
What sort of reaction have you had from the kids in terms of watching them learn and how they learn to do something as complex as coding?
I've had the initial fear reactions of, I don't think I can do this. I've had the look of surprise when something that they thought might not work then does work. Then I've had the looks of joy and positivity when they get through to completing a whole completed project that they've maybe taken 10 weeks to make their whole project on, and they get that made, and that's why you become a teacher, to be honest, those moments there.
What are you hoping that the kids can take away from this outside of just making a game?
Programming obviously goes across the spectrum when it comes to potential future careers. The number of jobs that kids are going to have in the future when it comes to being able to program are growing. I see that as more options that the kids have got for the future.
Do you guys think that this kind of class, teaching yourselves how to make a game, is something that you'd like to do more of?
Yeah, I'd like to do a lot more of this. Even extending it into a career would be really good.
Really? What kind of what would be your dream job?
To become a professional game programmer.
Wow, what an inspirational teacher.
Yeah, so good to see spawnlings making games in schools.
Now it's your turn to help the spawnlings at the Our Spawn Point desk. Oh, off you go. Ho, ho, ho.
All right, well, time for the last Ask SP of the Year, Bajo.
Who will answer the questions while we're away, Hex? Answer Claus, I guess.
Answer Claus?
Yeah, he's a bit like Santa Claus, except he brings all the good spawnlings answers to their questions, and the bad spawnlings get useless bits of trivia.
Okay, I mean, I don't think that's a real thing, Bajo. I guess the spawnlings will just have to ask someone else for a little while. But right now, we've got lots to answer, so let's start with this one from Queen of Simulation, who is in Simulation headquarters in Queensland.
Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus, answering all the questions, hey! Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus. He doesn't use a sleigh because he does it all remotely via email and web chat.
Hey, GGSP. I really love to play realistic simulation games. I love the good graphics like Farming Simulator 2017, American Truck Simulation, and Euro Truck Simulation. I also love the first-person perspective. So I was wondering if there were any nice realistic life simulation games, like job simulations, such as a cook. Please reply, or I will be in contact with all the gaming kings and queens, and we will never let you play games again. Thanks.
Well, your simulation highness. Simulated. I guess the most popular realistic life sim would be one of the Sims games, but those are all mostly rated M.
Other than that, there's actually been a few first-person cooking sims that have come out recently, although they are for virtual reality. There was Job Simulator for the PSVR and Vive, which had you mess around in a variety of silly jobs, including being a cook.
But if you want something more realistic, then there's Cybercook for Gear VR, which is a realistic cooking sim.
Overcooked is also a lot of fun with friends, but I suppose we wouldn't call that much of a simulator.
Yeah, it's more of a stress simulator. So much stress.
But let's move right along to this one from Matt in Thrillville in Queensland.
Whoa, Thrillville! That's where you go to get your thrills and potential spills. Goes hand in hand with thrills.
Do they?
Yeah, once I had a thrill, and then I didn't have a spill, and then 6 years later I had a spill.
Once I spilled some milk and it was thrilling.
Whoa! Swings and roundabouts, I guess, eh, Hex?
Hi GGSP, I'm trying to decide whether to buy Roller Coaster Tycoon World or Planet Coaster for a Christmas present for a friend. Could you please do a quick review of both? Thanks. P.S. Darren, do these.
Let's get old mate on the phone again. Hey Darren, there's some things for you to do.
Meow! Quack.
Well, Matt, the quick and simple answer is go with Planet Coaster.
Yes, we've only played through the beta of Roller Coaster Tycoon World, but we weren't too impressed with it, to be honest. And from the feedback we've seen from people playing the final version, it sounds like it didn't end up being that great.
But we can safely say that we loved Planet Coaster. It's got great graphics, excellent creation tools, good use of user-made content, and loads of different types of coasters too.
And we did actually review it on our other show. We both gave it a 4 and highly recommend it. But let's move on to this one now from Pardon.
You don't need to pardon yourself, Hex. I wasn't saying anything.
No, sorry, that's their name. Pardon,
Pardon?
Lord of the Vortex in Aussie, New York, Tasmania.
I beg your pardon? What did you just say?
No, Pardon is the name of the spawning who wrote in the question.
Pardon me. The new LEGO Dimension characters were released in shops last week, and I have been trying to find the Marceline character, but it isn't sold anywhere. How can I find it? Sincerely, Paradon, Lord of the Vortex. P.S. Goose got his portals wrong last week when discussing a complaint about mining obsidian. It is a nether portal that requires obsidian and not an end portal.
Well, Pardon, Paradon, Lord of the Vortex. It seems like the Marceline figure has run into a bit of a production issue. Apparently people who got her in the US were saying her toy tag didn't work and it would register as a blank vehicle tag instead of her.
Yes, my lord. So it seems like it's been delayed a little while, but it is due to be available sometime in December, so it might be out by the time this goes to air.
It is also worth noting, though, that apparently it is exclusive to a certain chain of stores too, so you'll need to find out what that store is to track her down.
Yes. As for Goose getting his portals wrong, well, that sounds to me, Hex, like it could potentially possibly be a little bit of a noob coming.
Well, I guess we better get Goose in here and get Darren on the phone to sort it out.
It's ringing.
Hello?
Hey, Goose, get down here.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Hello.
Hey, Darren, how's it going?
Oh, hello, Bajo. How can I help?
Well, we've got a noob complaint against Goose, and he should be here any second.
Hey guys,
Hi, Goose.
Squeezing up, I'm a bit boxy.
I'm so glad you're here.
What's up?
Well, Goose, apparently you mixed up your Minecraft portals the other week. You said Ender Portal rather than Nether Portal.
Oh, busted custard, mister!
Well, let's review the evidence. Roll the tape, Lee.
Plus, we were talking about making an ender portal, so the whole point of the answer was about actually mining obsidian so you can build something with it. You're not going to be able to build much with nothing.
Well, Goose, you clearly stated ender portal, which is not the type of portal that requires obsidian. What do you have to say for yourself?
Oh, well, I mean, come on, guys. It's an easy mistake to make. Ender portal, nether portal, they're both portals. I was just a little flustered.
Flustered custard?
What? I was a bit confused.
Shocking and unmistakable noobery, I must say. But, given the fact that it's almost Christmas and it was a minor error, I hereby pardon you of this charge.
What? Really? Oh, guys, it's a Christmas miracle. Thanks, Darren.
Bye, Goose. Hang on a second, Darren. Does that mean we all get one get out of drinking from the Noob Cup card?
Oh, Bajo, of course not.
Well, why not, Darren? I want one.
Oh, well, I only pardoned Goose because it's Christmas.
Oh, so I can be a noob in Christmas and it's fine.
If you were a noob on purpose, that would make you a double noob.
All right,
That'd be a double
guys.
cup.
I guess on that note, we're out of time for this week and, well, the year. But keep on sending in those questions over the break and we'll be back next year with more answers.
Bye, Darren. It's a complicated set of rules he
Yeah.
has for the card system.
I think just to be safe, you should just try not to be a noob all the time.
Yeah.
Miracle!
Shake, 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 Bajo and Hex. We're heading to the Pokémon Isles. Here are your costumes.
More?
More? We've got to get tropical.
So many layers, Darren.
Pokémon is back on the 3DS, this time with Sun and Moon. This new adventure takes place amongst the islands of Alola, which is a not so subtle play on the real-world islands of Hawaii. Visually, it pops a bit more than X and Y, and it's just as cinematic.
Yes, but where they've added looks, they've lost 3D. The third dimension. The console's stereoscopic 3D only works in about 5% of the game, which is even worse than X and Y. Also, we were playing on a slightly older console, the 3DS XL, and we suffered frame rate drops in fights and longer loading times than we're used to with Pokémon games. But hardware concerns aside, this is a lot of fun.
Affirmative. And that's helped by your ensemble of trusty sidekicks. Most of the way through the game, you're accompanied by Lily and Hao, part rivals, part besties. It feels like you're in the animated show, rather than in the typically lonely Pokémon games.
Yeah, the story is super simple, but there are a few cool twists. And all of this comes together to make the story in Sun and Moon far more engaging than any Pokémon game before it.
Well, Hex, I believe that is helped by the fact that you get a pet robot for the whole game. And that's because your Pokédex is home to the Pokémon Rotom, which brings it to life. Your living dex flies around and offers helpful tips and suggestions on what to do next. Oh, you know how I love a good robot companion.
Yeah, they're okay, but the Pokémon companions are pretty cool too, and there are 3 new starters to pick from. You've got the grass flying owl called Rowlet, the fire kitten called Litten, and the water option, always the best option, is the adorable seal Poplio. Which of course I chose.
Oh, I couldn't go past the kitten, so cute and fiery.
Well, I chose Rowlet because he seems the most intelligent. I even named him Bajo in the hopes that some of his wits would rub off on you.
Huh, thanks Darren, I think. Well anyway, once you've picked your starter, it's time to make a name for yourself. It's still a journey to become the very best. But for the first time in Pokémon history, there are no badges to collect and no gyms to conquer.
Yeah, I know, it's a scary thought. After all, it's been 20 whole years since the original Pokémon games were released. We spent 2 decades collecting those pins. But as you start making your way across the region, you quickly see they found a pretty cool replacement.
I miss those shiny badges, Hex, but yes, now you need to face the trials of Alola. Across the region's 4 islands, you must work your way through a series of challenges. It gets a bit complicated from here. Why don't you break it down for us, Darren?
Of course. The first thing you'll need to do is take on the island's captains, each of whom has their own trial. This could be something straightforward, like beating up all the grumpy Pokémon in a cave, or something a little more elaborate, like puzzle solving or a minigame. Overcoming a trial earns you a type-based Z crystal from the captain.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, Darren, but those Z crystals are awesome. When you give one to a Pokémon which knows moves of the corresponding type, you unlock a Z move, the most powerful attacks in the game. For example, giving a Fire Z crystal to Growlithe allows it to perform Inferno Overdrive, a supercharged flame attack. Devastating.
Oh, quite. But let me continue. Once you have defeated all of the captains on an island, you can then challenge the Big Kahuna in a grand trial, of which there is only one per island. And this is where things are much more familiar. These are just good old-fashioned battles. Trainer versus trainer. Mon versus Mon.
But on top of the trial-based adventure, there are a fair few other new features and tweaks. In Sun and Moon, wild Pokémon are able to call for backup, so in the middle of a fight, they'll summon a friend to help take you down. But really, it just means more XP for my Pokémon and less grinding.
Yeah, which is definitely a good thing. One of the more useful additions in my mind is that you can now tell if a move is going to be effective or not. There are just so many Pokemon types now that I can't keep up, so this really helped a lot.
Oh, affirmative. And there are a lot more shortcuts like these throughout the game, which make everything a bit more streamlined. Gone are the days of the HM. Now you just need to progress through the story far enough and bam! Here's a Lapras for you to ride on whenever you like, or whap! Have a Charizard to fly you across the map. Oh.
This drip feed of rideable Pokemon is a much better way of keeping the player on course. Guys, I know we say this every time, but this game just gets better and better with each release. So I'm giving Sun and Moon a 4.5 out of 5 rubber chickens.
I'm giving it 4 rubber chickens.
Oh, gotta catch 'em all! Goose, come on, get in here. Well, that's just about it for our last episode of Spawn Point for the year.
Did you guys request my presents?
All right, Darren, it's time for the answer to your challenge.
Affirmative. At the start of the show, I asked you this. LEGO Dimensions features characters from which movie that's set at Christmas time? And the answer is... Gremlins!
Oh, yeah. Wow, that is a super old movie, Darren.
It's in LEGO Dimensions, don't look at me.
Well, guys, that's it. That's our last episode of Spawn Point for the year. Thank you so much to everyone at home who's been watching this show. It's been a great year for gaming, hasn't it, guys?
Oh, it's been so good. Also, a big thank you to everyone here at the ABC who helps us make the show.
Yes, we'll be back on ABC Me in February, so enjoy the holidays, get in heaps of gaming, and we'll see you in 2017. Goose out.
Checks out.
Bajo out.
Darren out.
All right, guys, is it now time to open the presents?
What? No, Bajo, we have to wait till Christmas. But I do think Darren has been working on a Christmas pudding for us all.
Affirmative. And it's almost ready. Heating. It's done.
Oh, yes! This is great, Darren!
Smells amazing.
All right, well, see you next year, everyone.
Goodbye.
This is just for me, right?
No, Bajo, you've got to share it.
But this is Bajo-sized.
Fruitcake is very dense. I don't think you could eat all that by yourself.
Is that a dare? Are you challenging me right now, Hex?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.